Okay, the simple answer is yes. I think that with the baby boomers want value for money, and if the baby boomers are going to have to spend money, they'll want control over how they spend that money and where they spend that money. So retirement villages are a logical place for the baby boomers to go and live.
Yes, it certainly will, and there's a great opportunity for providers to capture a part of the market where residents want to age in place.
Yeah, I think it will, and the main reason is because all of a sudden, residents or clients will have the opportunity to think about options. So the game changer is one of choice and value for their dollar.
Yes, I think it will be a game changer. I think the aged care and retirement living industries are ripe for opportunity to grow and expand. I think that the sectors have in part been driven by legacy of legislation, and I think the greater capacity for residents and future and current residents to be able to empower themselves to make the decisions themselves about the care that they get, the services that they're eligible for, and the accommodation that they want in their later life. I think that's a great opportunity, and it'll be very empowering for those people.
Knowing the challenges that demographics are giving us in terms of the wave of the baby boomers coming, there will certainly still be a need for residential aged care, but the level of care that will be required will increase, the stays will become shorter.
Look, I'm not seeing residential aged care being largely different from what it is today. I think that we've got the building stock that we've got. I think with the changes to the ACAR, it's going to be more difficult for people to invest in residential aged care.
Residential aged care in 5 years' time will be, I believe it'll be more clearly defined. It's going to be harder to get a place because just through the numbers, and I think residents will demand more.
I think it'll definitely be different. The question is what it looks like. I think in 5 years' time, we will have had circa 3.5 to 4 years of post-deregulation of aged care beds. What that looks like, I don't think anyone really knows at this point, but I think that creates an opportunity.
I think there is still a large amount of growth in the retirement living sector, so that will certainly keep growing with these changes. But also the home care services will definitely continue to grow, and not just with government packages, but fee for service.
Look, I think the winners are people who operate the three pillars of care and service. The losers, it's really, really hard to say. I think the only way I see losers is if people don't have a product that people want.
The winners are going to be the operators who truly understand their residents and consumers and are able to develop the service and care propositions. Conversely, the ones who are not as adept in terms of what the consumer is seeking are going to be the ones that are going to struggle.
I don't like to think there'll be any losers. I just don't think perhaps people will do as well as others. I think the winners will be those who innovate and innovate quickly.
That's a very challenging question. I think it will get down to below the 200 mark. What I've seen in when I've spoken to other providers is there are single standalone providers that are still holding on, and whether the government funding changes gives them a little bit more hope to keep holding on or not, I guess is going to be the big factor over the next few years.
I mean, consolidation is something that's happening at the moment, and we're seeing lots of acquisitions. I think that there's a lot of organisations that are seeking a certain scale to drive the efficiencies and productivity to be successful and be profitable. But I always am a big advocate, and I think it's really important that we understand that there's going to be community-based and community-specific providers which are either the smaller end of the market who provide really critical services to the community that they support.
Good question. The only answer I'd give is less. I wouldn't even be game to give a number. Clearly, consolidation is going to continue at a pace.
Definitely optimistic. There has been a lot of recent news coming through for the Aged Care Taskforce that there is change in the funding and how not just the government's looking at it, but potentially how the public and community look at how aged care is funded.
I'm really excited about the future at the end of the day. You know, I think we've got great numbers of people hurtling towards aged care. I think that we've got some different ways we can provide care going forward. I think with the things that the government are doing with the reforms, I see that as a very positive thing. We've got a few hurdles to cross. We've got our workforce problems to solve. But I always take, a glass half full approach to life.
From the bank's perspective, we see it as a critical component of community and society, and it's something that we really want to support. But if you look at the thematics and demographics of the country, the demand and the requirements are growing over time, they're not decreasing.
Optimistic. We've, as we just saw at ACBA, there's some, positive commentary that we're now hearing around the future funding model. We see plenty of other solutions coming into the market to support aged care operators. There's always going to be a place, and in fact, a growing need for more clearly defined aged care services.
Always optimistic, Chris. Always optimistic. Look, I think there are challenges, but I think there's always a way, there's always a pathway through. It's not going to be easy.